I wanted to talk about Mary Lynn tonight, my mentor. When I was in my early 20s, I took a college course, and my teacher was this woman from town, and her name was Mary Lynn. And she had a fabulous gift shop in town called the Merry-Go-Round, and it wasn't M-E-R-R-Y, it was M-A-R-Y, Merry-Go-Round. And, but I took a creative, well, basically an English course, but it was creative writing, and she was such an inspiration, and she was so original, and I had such a good time there. And I lived in town, and it was just a couple doors down from her store, and so we chatted after I took the college course with her, and so I'd often stop in and say hello. And she really enjoyed my poetry, and she really inspired me to write more. And I always felt that she was my inspiration, and that we had this special bond about Emily Dickinson. And every year at Christmas time, I'd give her something that was about Emily. Like I gave her this beautiful Madame Alexander Emily Dickinson doll one year for Christmas. And I gave her a silver bullion Emily Dickinson coin that was made sometime in the 70s that I found in on eBay. And I also gave her a sheet of stamps that she had framed, and they were Emily Dickinson stamps that were done sometime in the 80s, which I found on eBay. But anyway, she was that person that I always looked up to and admired, and if I had anything really important to say, I was proud to be able to tell her. And I tried to always come with some good news in my life. But after the years went by, I just lost touch with her, and it was my fault. I basically thought that as I was getting older that I didn't have anything that would make her proud of me. So I just kind of slipped away and didn't stop anymore when I was in town. And I moved far away, and I didn't keep in touch. We mailed cards on holidays, and eventually that stopped, where we lost touch altogether. And she was in her early 60s. And it was my decision. I just felt I didn't have anything to make her proud of me. But secretly I thought that I would create this will, that if I ever died, that I would leave all of my poetry, all of the thousands of pages of thoughts to her, that she would do something with them. That would be the way that she would be proud of me. So, time went by. I'll never forget when I lived close to her in town, and I don't know, maybe she noticed that I wasn't happy, or maybe she did it just because, but I entered my apartment. She was very close friends with my landlady, and I entered my lonely, cold, dark apartment one night, and there was this gift there inside. My landlady had let her in to put it on the stairs, and it was an angel framed. I'll show it to you because I always keep it near me. And on the back it says, "To Allie, a Merry Christmas to a special angel. Love, Mary Lynn." And I have always kept it near me. She was my mentor. She was the best person in my life. And so time went by, and what you realize after the fact is that you really don't have all the time in the world for the people that you love. You really don't. My girlfriend from when I was a young teenager called me, who lived in that town, and she called and left a message at 6:30 in the morning last February. Well, this past February. And she talked to me. I didn't hear the message, but she said, "Oh, and by the way, did you hear that Mary Lynn died?" And after she had left the message, I listened to it, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. She was one of those people that they're supposed to live forever, right? You know, the people who make your heart sing. And she was gone. And it had been maybe 2 or 3 years since we last spoke. I mean, I've thought about it over and over in my head a couple of times. And I'm thinking, well, maybe we spoke last year on the phone for a few minutes. I don't know, but I don't really recall. I don't remember. And I know I didn't give her my new address, so it's been a few years. And so she was gone. Gone. People leave, and you can't really do too much about it, so you have to tell the people that you love now, every day, or whatever. You have to let them know that you appreciate them. So I didn't really know her daughter very well, and I called her daughter, and I spoke to her, and she really didn't know me, so it was as if that I never existed. And I was kind of selfish. I was thinking, oh, I would love to have my doll back, just because it would be my memory of her, and I didn't dare ask. I didn't ask. So I didn't go to the funeral because I work in New York City, and I didn't have enough time to go out there. And but what I did do is I called the town where she lived, and about a month or so later I called the library there, and I paid for a beautiful Japanese maple tree to be planted in her honor. It'll be my tribute to Mary Lynn. And they said, oh, it's wonderful because there's a tree that won't grow and it's dead, and we'd like to replace it. It's right out front. And so it took a long time, and I almost gave up. But they just planted it this week. So it's there. So what I'm going to do, hopefully this weekend, is take a nice long drive out there and buy a ribbon and tie it around a tree. Thanks for listening.